You sound like a troll. You sound like a social media troll. Everything you can point out that's
very
incorrect.
Rude. You don't call someone a dog with respect. That's without respect.
No, it is with respect.
Let me talk about something else. Abigail Spencer, who is also a friend of Meghan.
In a world saturated with opinions masquerading as truth and paid pundits vomiting vitriol to gain fleeting digital applause, two names have emerged as permanent residents of the noise chamber: Angela Levin and Niall Gardiner. Their recent tirades against Meghan Sussex and Prince Harry reveal not insight, but a festering bitterness disguised as commentary. From calling Meghan one of the nastiest, most ruthless figures in royal history, to accusing her of having an infinite capacity for revenge, Niall Gardiner didn't offer critique. He unleashed character assassination. And Angela Levin. Her comparison of Meghan's principled stance to a sausage-counting tantrum is so deranged, it's hard to tell if she's speaking from a place of research or raw jealousy. Either way, truth died in their tweets. Let's be very clear. What Angela Levin and Niall Gardiner are doing is not journalism. It's not commentary. It's not even gossip. It's orchestrated bullying, steeped in classism, racism, misogyny, and a disturbing nostalgia for a monarchy that punishes independence, especially when it comes from a black woman who dared to speak. But what neither Niall nor Angela will ever accept is this. Meghan and Harry are still standing, unshaken, loved globally, and more relevant than their critics could ever dream to be. Niall Gardiner's tweet reads like the diary of a man wounded not by truth, but by irrelevance. How else do you explain a grown man furiously tweeting that Meghan Sussex is one of the nastiest, most ruthless figures in royal history, as though she burned down the palace or waged a war, rather than giving interviews and defending herself against racism? He speaks of infinite capacity for revenge, and yet what he's actually describing is Meghan's infinite capacity for endurance. What Niall calls revenge, the rest of the world rightly calls resilience. Meghan did not go on a vengeance tour. She simply told the truth, something Niall finds unbearable. And Angela Levin, the self-styled royal biographer with the emotional maturity of a broken typewriter, jumped on the bandwagon with the grace of a Twitter troll. Comparing Meghan's supposed grievances to the number of sausages or not being made queen is not analysis. It's adolescent mockery that reveals more about Angela's own desperation than Meghan's intentions. Both of these figures behave like they've been personally insulted by Meghan's existence. They act as if Meghan Sussex waking up in the morning is a threat to the empire. It's deranged, it's obsessive, and it's dangerous. Let's remind the world who Meghan Sussex is. An accomplished, educated, biracial American woman who walked into the most rigid institution on earth and still managed to shine. Meghan didn't marry a title. She married a man. She didn't abandon royal duties. She escaped a cage that expected silence in the face of abuse. She didn't run from Britain. She ran toward freedom, peace, and a future for her children. What Niall and Angela cannot stomach is this. Meghan refused to break. She refused to conform. She refused to be humiliated and voiceless for the satisfaction of royal traditionalists who treat a black woman's existence as an affront to protocol. Angela Levin claims Meghan should never let go. But of what exactly? Her dignity? Her voice? Her demand for equality? If that's what Angela thinks is vile, then Meghan should wear it as a badge of honour. While Niall and Angela hurl words like grenades, they forget one vital fact. Meghan is not alone. Prince Harry stood by his wife, not out of weakness, but out of strength, an emotional, moral, and historical strength his own family couldn't summon. Harry saw the ghosts of his mother's trauma haunting Meghan's every headline. He saw history threatening to repeat itself, and unlike his ancestors, he broke the cycle. That's not betrayal, that's bravery. The British press mocks Harry for protecting his wife, as if loyalty is now a flaw and abandonment is the gold standard. But the world sees what the tabloid puppets won't admit. Harry chose love over legacy, truth over tradition, humanity over hollow protocol. Niall Gardiner and Angela Levin are not journalists. They are mouthpieces for a monarchist agenda that punishes those who dare to speak. Where was Niall Gardiner's fury when Prince Andrew's scandals rocked the monarchy? Where was Angela Levin's scathing tweet storm for the senior royals who stayed silent during Meghan's mental health crisis? Where were the apology demands for the palace's inaction during the tabloid abuse Meghan faced while pregnant? They were nowhere. Silent, conveniently mute. Their fury is selective, their targets are predictable. Their moral compass is warped. They want Meghan and Harry to apologise for refusing to be destroyed. They want submission, not reflection. And that's what makes their outrage hollow and pitiful. Angela and Niall can keep tweeting into their echo chamber, but the world has moved on. People see through the hate, the hypocrisy, the obsession. Millions watched Meghan's interview with Oprah and believed her. Millions support Harry's memoir because it speaks truth to power. Millions follow their work on mental health, equity and justice, not because of titles, but because of authenticity. And guess what? Meghan never needed the crown to be relevant. She is the crown now, in grace, poise, impact and dignity. While Angela throws barbs and Niall barks from his keyboard, Meghan Sussex is raising 2 children, building global initiatives, producing stories that matter, and redefining what it means to be royal in the 21st century. And that, perhaps, is what triggers them the most. Angela Levin's tweet about number of sausages isn't just bizarre, it's pathetic. Is that what royal commentary has come to? Infantile metaphors about breakfast meats. It shows how little substance Angela has. When facts run out, she turns to mockery. When logic fails, she turns to innuendo. And when she's called out, she plays victim. Let's be honest, Angela Levin is clinging to relevance by hating Meghan. Without Meghan, Angela's career fades into the dustbin of forgotten biographers. It's parasitism dressed up as patriotism. What Niall and Angela are doing is more than trolling. It's part of a systemic media machine that chews up women of colour, rebels and truth-tellers. It happened to Diana. It happened to Meghan. It's happening again. They weaponise the press. They rewrite history. They manipulate public perception. But they forget one thing. History is not kind to liars. And no amount of Daily Mail links or Telegraph tantrums will erase the real legacy being built by Meghan and Harry. Meghan Sussex doesn't need revenge. She has victory. Victory in her family. Victory in her truth. Victory in the global support that drowns out the clickbait hate. She doesn't clap back. She climbs higher. While her enemies tweet insults, she builds empires of empathy. While they write fiction, she writes grants, projects, and pathways for change. And Harry? He's not a prince in exile. He's a husband, father, and advocate who chose peace over performance. So Angela Levin and Niall Gardiner can keep typing. But every insult they spew is a mirror reflecting their own smallness. They don't define Meghan, they don't define Harry, and they certainly don't define the future of leadership. Meghan Sussex walked through fire and emerged stronger, softer, wiser. And Harry, he held her hand the whole way. Their love, their truth, their rise is the very thing Angela and Niall cannot stand. But it's exactly what the world celebrates. To all my curious Sussex family, thank you all for watching and do not forget to subscribe, like and drop a comment. Bye-bye, see you in Out next episode.